Hello and welcome to Fresh Face One Shots. My name is Joey.
And I'm Jacob.
And today we are back with Wonder Woman by Tom King, and of course, the summer DC event of 2024, Absolute Power. This is Wonder Woman number 12. Getting right into this. This is a very different issue, I thought, from the last one, and one that I personally greatly preferred to the last issue. But from what I understand, because I refuse to talk in depth before the recording, something it seems you disagree with, but I don't know why.
No matter how hard we try, I don't know why this one didn't click with me as well.
Because you're wrong.
I mean, possibly. I don't know. There are. Okay, there are things I really did like about the issue, but also some things that, I don't know. I still get the vibe that this isn't the story King wants to be telling, and...
here's the thing. I think, with the last issue, King it definitely was the story that King didn't want to tell. But with this, I think he's actually using an Absolute Power tie-in to properly set something up, and that is Diana's relationship to Damian, and as such, Damian's relationship to Liz, when she will eventually come into the picture.
That's what
I took from this.
That's potentially fair. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of how Damian was characterized throughout this.
I once again disagree. Goddamn.
I think King was getting a little too bloodthirsty. Though I feel like maybe one or two lines could have justified it a little bit in the context of what's been going on with Absolute Power, the event.
I mean, I think he kind of he works it in just fine by Damian literally realizing in the issue that it's not working. I think it's justified. I think it works.
I think the conclusion works. I don't think a lot of the build up to the conclusion works.
Jacob, you have beating the shit out of Captain Boomerang throughout the bulk of the issue. I mean, come on. What is not to enjoy?
The character interactions that aren't that, like the slapstick is great, and Digger Harkness is very fun to watch be destroyed throughout this thing. Also, the art is fantastic.
It is. Yeah, it was again. Tony S. Daniel.
Oh,
yeah, he's doing a great.
I mean,
I think he does an especially great job with Wonder Woman's Absolute Power suit. I think that looks fantastic.
Yes. These power suit designs were something would probably have been very easy to fuck up, like in terms of what you're going for, because it's these superpowered superheroes. There's maybe a tendency to MCUify things.
By over-designing them, but I think
them, trying to make them look like nanotech,
that's
nanotech MCU design.
Yeah,
it's
that's not
what
at
we're going for,
which is nice.
Yeah.
You know what scene I did really love in this? I loved the using Digger's son.
That's probably honestly that might actually be the best scene in the issue.
Because it does start off really heartwarming, and I love that throughout this conversation that Diana and Damian have here, you see these little the speech bubbles in the background of them talking to each other, and the Harknesses being the Harknesses, it turns into a fight between them, like a literal fist fight. And so I thought that was really fun character interaction, and also just a genuinely sweet moment. I thought that was really cool. And I don't know, I enjoyed, especially seeing King write the interactions between Damian and Diana here, mostly with the idea in mind that Diana will clearly, at some point, entrust Damian with the upbringing of her daughter at some point. I really love that idea. I think it's great.
I'd like to see it more in the context of the run as a whole than where it is as an Absolute Power tie-in.
I don't think that takes away from this at all. I really don't. I think you're getting really bogged down by that for some reason. It's a little weird.
Maybe I am. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Damian as a character should have maybe grown past some of the violence here.
Damien has just kind of had a really weird publishing history, in that people keep kind of going back and forth on how much he has actually developed and how edgy he is or isn't at the moment. It's something I've personally gotten used to, so maybe that's why I'm not as offended by this as you.
That's very possible. I also think I'm surprised. Honestly, it's something I'm surprised King didn't do, based on the backups. Didn't mention John's situation. I mean, didn't allude to John's situation at all. Because I could see that being a justification for why Damien is so angry and sort of regressed.
I have a feeling if they do touch on that, it might be a more main event kind of thing. Considering John is actually mostly involved in the main event, and from what I can tell, and even in the Superman tie-in that we're also going to be covering in the coming days on the channel, they also don't delve a ton into John's involvement in that particular story.
Yeah, I really hope John's involvement isn't being stuck in that Task Force 7 miniseries that we aren't reading.
No, that's definitely a main event thing. I'm just saying that, like, I think the tie-ins are doing a great job of being important to the story, but only in like a, hey, you shouldn't have to read this to understand the story, which is how I think all good tie-ins should actually work to big events like this.
Well, yeah, I will say one of my praises of this and the Superman tie-ins we've read is they don't seem to be doing that thing of locking crucial information into the tie-ins.
Oh yeah. Well, because also they said at the end of the last issue that it was going to be continued in the next issue of Wonder Woman and Task Force 7, and clearly that is where the Justice League Dark stuff has gone. And we're not reading that, so that's why it's not continuing here. Which I don't need to read to understand, but I get that that's what happened. I did also want to mention another scene I really loved in this, which was the 2 pages of the explaining to Captain Boomerang why it is bad to lose superheroes, with the image of Superman stopping a meteor from hitting Earth. I thought that was a really cool way.
That was very effective. I also, the resolution did give me a chuckle of just the
Boomerang just letting it slip. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was fun. Especially because remind me, is this the last tie-in, or next month we're also getting tie-ins?
Next month we're also getting tie-ins. So yeah, we have one more to go. So.
But it does seem like each tie-in issue is gonna feel I'd say, reading this out of context, it's like gonna be reading the George Perez Wonder Woman, where you have some event tie-ins.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, for real. Maybe this is more similar to Perez Wonder Woman than you might think.
I like the approach specifically. It helps, though I imagine reading this without reading this in the future, like in the trade, is gonna.
Yeah, I mean, no weirder than it is to read, like the Invasion or Millennium tie-ins that we have covered on the channel through Perez's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think this works. Have I maybe improved your opinion through this conversation, mayhaps a little bit?
Maybe a little. I don't think it's bad. Here's the thing. I don't think there's been anything that I've read so far in this run. I'm trying to think if there's anything in King's Batman run that I've read so far that I dislike.
I don't think so.
There's stuff that I just think is fine, that is actively bad. I think there are things that could improve. I also do not have. I mean, I have some issues with King, as a writer, but also I will not say Tom King can't write good when he wants to.
It is always so insane seeing his name trending every single time a new issue of his stuff comes out, because it is just the same like 10 people over and over again bitching about the same things.
Well, what's interesting, and it's especially interesting when it's like split down the middle, where some people vibe really well with his stuff.
I mean, I vibe a lot with King's stuff. I don't think I'm like as hardcore as some people. Like personally, I have no interest in like the new Jenny Sparks thing coming out. Which
that's one where I feel like the criticism might be warranted.
But obviously
King likes to use a lot of obscure characters, and sometimes using obscure characters, you make your mark on them, and it doesn't.
Yeah, but then there are also people that just get mad at the fact that he's even writing certain characters. Like the Black Canary announcement happened recently, and like I'm excited about that. That looks really cool. But it's just people mad that he is now written for like every JLI member, and it's like, okay, cool. That's clearly something he wanted to do. Let him fucking do it. Like, I don't know. I don't see a problem with it. Whatever. Anyway, let's get into the backup, which is World's Finest. I can't believe, first off, we're 9 parts into World's Finest. I thought this was like a 3 or 4 part thing. I thought this was
going to be over.
I love that this is still happening, and honestly, I think this is the thing that will truly make the moment when Liz finally becomes a part of the main story all the more fulfilling. It'll be fantastic. I'm very excited.
Can they drop the part numbers, though? Because I'm like,
these are not going in order, yeah.
you are jumping... I don't know. King doesn't feel like the type of writer to tell this sort of non-linear, like he's not. It doesn't feel like he's telling a story non-linearly.
No. These are clearly just little vignettes of Damien, John,
little episodes, little things.
His life. Yeah, that's all it is. It's clearly not telling a larger story, unless it is. Maybe it is, and we don't know yet.
If it is, if it is, I'll eat a shoe because
film yourself doing it.
I'll do the Muppet Show thing of eating a tire to Flight of the Bumblebee on camera.
But all that said, I do love the idea of this one, and that is that Damien, Liz, and John are dealing with their own crisis of this of their age.
It's a road trip, the first of many crises.
Yeah, and so this is their time to prove themselves, and they need to get to this planet to fight Mongol, and it's gonna take 73 days to get there. And what we do is we follow those days
very briefly as they get sick of each other by the end.
I mean, day 6 it says, and they're already sick of each other because Damien and John don't know how to put down a toilet seat. It's fun. I just love watching these characters interact. I love the whole watching a murder mystery thing together where Damien's already figured it out. It's so much fun. I would never tire of reading these characters together.
It's fun. It's fun. I don't entirely know why it's here for these tie-in issues, but I mean, I'm not gonna complain.
It's fine. Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, if people are worried about it completely getting in the way of what King is doing with the main run, I think if nothing else, the World's Finest stuff is here to keep some semblance of hey, this is still what we're doing. Also, I love Bella Ortega's art specifically in the scene where Damien's complaining about Liz having stolen his costume, and she's wearing the cape, and John is wearing the cowl, and I fucking love the art there.
It's a great gag.
It is.
The only thing is, I think they need to make some decisions on Damien's face. I don't know why. That page, there's something about Damien's face that it looks like a child's face on an adult body.
Oh, really? I don't know.
It's the one part of the art that threw me for a loop. And I think
I think it is also because we're jumping through time, and determining these characters' ages at specific points is getting a little difficult. So
yeah,
if anyone wants to try to compile all 9 of these parts into the order they should go in, please try.
I dare you. I dare you.
But of course, the end gag is that they finally get there, and Mongol goes down in one hit, and that's it.
And they have to, and going back, they are going to have to go back. It's going to take longer going back because of space and travel. And we got some great reprinting of George Perez art.
Yes.
The late great Trina Robbins, and I was like, oh. It is so nice to see that.
From a story we covered on the podcast not that long ago.
Yeah, that's...
what is that, episode 65? Episode 65, we covered that story on the podcast.
Yes.
So that was lovely.
And the art by another late, great artist, Roman Frayden.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Also, we are now at the point where DC is being nostalgic for '90s events like Zero Hour.
Yes.
My brain is just. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun to watch develop.
Well, we did get the Death and Return of Superman specials in the last few years. So yeah, it's zero hours time, I guess.
It's 0 hours time. They aren't doing a Bloodlines one.
They should do a Bloodlines one, Jacob. Come on, it would be so funny. We would be the only ones buying it. It would be great.
You would be the only one buying it. I'm not buying it.
You would absolutely buy it. Come on, you, me, and Jamie. Anyway, I think that about does it.
That about does it.
Check out other Fresh Face one-shots we do on the channel. We cover Superman by Joshua Williamson, obviously Wonder Woman by Tom King, Batman the Brave and the Bold by Various, and of course the Summer DC event of 2024, Absolute Power. We are also covering the current Batman miniseries, Death in the Family, Robin Lives, the alternate future where Jason Todd survived, and we just recently started our first Marvel one-shot with The Uncanny X-Men by Gail Simone. Had a fantastic first issue. Check all that out. Also check out the main podcast. We just put out our... Yes, trying to think of when this comes out. Yes, we are about to put out tomorrow when this comes out. We're about to put out our last episode of our current Marvel block with Thor the Accursed. We had a good friend on that podcast, Connor, aka Genesis and Androzani. He was awesome on that. And then we're getting back into some DC stuff. So yeah.
Also with a guest.
Also with a guest. Yeah, a lot of guests. A lot of new guests, actually, which is very exciting.
A lot of new guests.
Yeah. And then also, of course, our link trees and everything to our socials and all that will be in the description below. And I think that about does it. So thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan.
Jacob Licklider.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.